Welcome to A Shot Between the Reels. My name is Dan, and over this side,
My name is Brendan.
welcome, Brendan.
Thanks for having me, Dan. Excited?
It's excited. Yes, I am so thrilled. It's great to be chatting again, and as always, um, tonight's film, though. What is tonight's film, Brendan? Tell us.
Tonight's film is Jupiter Ascending.
Jupiter Ascending, directed by the Wachowskis. I think
Yes,
that's what they're now going by.
they are, yes.
Wachowskis. Um, so obviously their great accomplishment was 1999, The Matrix, an incredible film.
Yes.
And I actually really like Matrix Reloaded. I know not everyone does.
Yeah, I like it.
Matrix Revelations is absolutely awful. It's not great. I was so hyped for those films.
Yeah,
Those two were coming out, and I was like,
yeah.
goodness gracious, you've just broken my heart. And Cloud Atlas, that was good. I enjoyed that. I know you're not a massive fan.
No, not particularly, sadly.
I liked it. I liked the weird, creepy old Hugh Grant character.
Mm.
He was really creepy. And that sort of Japanese one, he's like really weird. Um, yeah, so it is strange. It's a
Yeah.
strange film, but I thought it was interesting. And then Speed Racer. I've not seen Speed Racer, have you?
Yeah, I think I remember not having the worst memories of Speed Racer. I think they did a good job. Always, the thing that Wachowskis do very well is I think they do understand visual storytelling. So, general, the idea how they build worlds and the interest in what things look like, they get
Yeah,
that right. And for something like Speed Racer, it's based on anime. It's crazy visuals, and they definitely captured that. So,
yeah,
I mean, I remember it being mad, but
yeah.
visually, it's quite arresting. So, yeah.
I think their one other film was Bound, which is pre-Matrix,
Mm.
um, which I think I saw some of once when I was younger, but never watched all of it. I think it was just on telly,
Yeah.
but I didn't watch all of it, so I couldn't give you a fair sort of comment on that one. So, Jupiter Ascending is 2015. Everyone's excited. It's a new Wachowskis. I didn't bother to go and see this. Did you? This is your first time watching it.
This is my first time watching it, so when you suggested it, I was interested because I thought I would never normally get around to a film like this, I don't think, and this is a good
Oh,
excuse to
this is
do
the
it.
strange thing, right? Science fiction. Both of us are like, where do I sign? You know, I'm the front of the queue. I want to see this. But the reviews for this film, less than positive.
Yeah, kind of tanked.
It really did.
Yeah.
Just looking at IMDb, it's got 5.3, which could be worse, but it ain't a positive recommendation.
No, not particularly.
So I feel like we're doing this for us, as a service for people.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think let's do star rating. Oh yeah, let's do star rating now, and then we'll get into the film a bit.
Okay. Yeah.
So would you like me to go first this time, Brendan?
I think I think you should go first.
Okay, because normally it's you, but I'm happy to take the lead. Out of 5 stars, I thought hard and I dug down deep into the generous parts of my heart, and I gave Jupiter Ascending 1 star.
Okay.
Brendan, how about you?
So, I too dug down deep into my heart and I tried to look past certain things and see it for what it could potentially be. And I too gave this film 1 star.
Wow. Okay, 1 star. So if you haven't seen this film, feel free to carry on watching because I wouldn't bother. Now, where should we start? We need to think about what is the synopsis. What is the plot of this film? I'm just going to read the IMDb synopsis.
Yeah.
and try and keep a straight face.
Okay.
So here we go. This is what it says. This is one long sentence here. A young woman discovers her destiny as an heiress of intergalactic nobility and must fight to protect the inhabitants of Earth from an ancient and destructive industry.
Okay.
So, a young woman, and what we find is it's Mila Kunis. She's the main character. She's a cleaner.
Yeah.
She cleans people's houses. She's literally like Cinderella, basically.
Yeah.
Pre-ball.
Yeah.
Right? Pre-fairy godmother. So
that's what it was actually going
for.
Is
Do we think Channing Tatum's the fairy godmother?
I mean, he's got about the same amount of eye makeup on as the fairy godmother. So, from what I understand, the plot is basically you have this rich family who their inheritance, they live for long periods of time, and the whole main currency is them just buying more time for themselves, so making themselves younger and younger. And the only way they make themselves younger is by harvesting the life on planets to make this particular type of thing, which they can then bathe in or inject into themselves to make themselves young again. You get, honestly, I'm not joking when it's like, it's all this stuff they just dump on you. So you also get people that live again, so they're born into a new body which kind of looks the same, which is why Mila Kunis apparently looks like their mother, who one of them killed. Well, so Eddie Redmayne's character does kill her, but she doesn't have the memories of their mother, but she looks the same and it is a reincarnation. So
she's got the same genetic makeup. So
yeah, and so she has like the birthright to own Earth. That's the idea. And then and it's all of this craziness. All of this craziness is happening. So all of that's happening, and then she's introduced to the family, and then it's about her kind of saying no to the system, and she wants to save Earth. That's putting it down into a simple.
Yeah, but there's kind of like a political game going on between the siblings and a bit of trickery, and there's a few different interested parties. Okay, so this film, we worked out it's convoluted just beyond imagining. It's just nonsense, really, in terms of the plot and the story. In terms of dialogue, it's not great either. I mean that. Okay, so one of the bits that I suddenly wanted to pay attention, I'll just say this, was the bit where Sean Bean turns up. Okay, I'm like, Sean Bean, and he is just so charismatic, and he gets your attention. He's so good, right?
Yeah.
And then we have this nonsense about bees. And like Mila Kunis' character is just swarmed by these bees, but they're not hating her. They're just like, oh, the bees. They're attracted to her because they, in their genetics, they sense royalty. Yeah, who'd have thought, right?
Makes logical sense, Dan. I don't know. I
was just like, what? Bees? Like what? And then, but what's crazy is that after that, don't see a bee. No bees anyway.
No.
What's the point?
Well, they serve that one purpose in the film for that one line.
Yeah, you know you're royalty, don't you? Oh yeah, because the bees know. What the hell? What's going on? It's like literally, it's like a 4-year-old's made up the story. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, it's possible. Maybe a 4-year-old did make up the story. I think it's. So I kept, as I was watching this. I mean, I'm the kind of person that wants to give most films a go, or give them the benefit of the doubt, and try and see what they were doing. And like I said earlier, I think the one thing that they do kind of get right is that they have all these crazy ideas when it comes to contraptions in the world and the way that kind of things are made up. And I love that. I mean, it's the same thing that works in The Matrix's favor. They do all these kind of cool conceptual things where you think, man, whose brain is that coming from? I mean, it looks...
I thought the spaceships were really cool.
Yeah, it captures people's imagination. It is a cool idea. The only problem is, in this, it's just they have all these great actors, but it's wasted talent because
Yeah.
no, they've got awful dialogue to work with. No
Mm.
one's ever really kind of doing much. There's so much exposition dump that's happening all the
Yeah.
time. I think
Yeah.
the only bit that I remember that I actually kind of liked is when she, Mia Kunis, she's taken to this sort of big. It looks like a big space station, I think, and it's it's like a bureaucratic section where they are processing her through to try and
Oh yeah, yeah,
try
yeah,
and say whether she is
yeah.
who she says she is.
That bit's
And that
great.
I actually kind of really like that bit because it's
Yeah,
like intentionally done in that way to
but
be.
there's a cool cameo in that as well because it's a very Brazil moment. The film Brazil and because Terry Gilliam is in that.
Yeah,
He's in that, and I was
yeah,
like, wait a second, that's Terry Gilliam, like. And I was like, yeah, this is like Brazil.
yeah.
But this film is nowhere near as good as Brazil. This film cannot even wipe Brazil's ass. Brazil is a masterpiece. Go and watch that. If you haven't seen Brazil,
Yeah,
go and watch that, mate.
just
That's
watch that
brilliant.
instead. Because
Yeah,
honestly, I think that scene shows probably more interest than basically the rest of the film
yeah.
because it's got all this.
Well, it's humour as well. It's like one time
Yeah,
there's
it's got the
genuine humour.
humor, so it feels a little bit. It kind of reminded me also a bit of Fifth Element in a way. That kind of
Love
whole
that.
section. So it's got all these
Yeah.
fantastical machines, but they being used in
I'm
everyday
watching that.
life.
But I'm halfway through it.
Amazing. They're kind of they're going through these fantastical machines, and they've got the sweeping music in the background.
Yeah,
Again, really good. So they've got things. It's kind of think of it like a puzzle. They've got
yeah,
all these bits that could make something great, but they just
yeah.
put the puzzle completely together incorrectly. I
It's
feel
not. It's not fun, is it? There's no fun in it.
no,
Clearly, the message is kind of some sort of anti-capitalist agenda. And like literally in the synopsis, she's got to fight to protect the inhabitants of Earth from an ancient and destructive industry. Industry? What? Like,
there's never any mention of industry from what I can remember.
but in essence, that's what it is. It's this industry. It's like a business, basically. The business model wants to ruin Earth. Yeah, it's not great. Channing Tatum. We need to talk about him. Uh, I've seen films where he's been good, but bless him. It's hard to be good at your job when you've got to wear those ears and that fake beard and pretend to be half wolf. It's
Buffalo,
just
part
not a good
angel,
character.
part like
Part
dog.
angel, yeah. Like that bit at the end where it's like, oh, what a surprise! He's got wings again. That wasn't coming, was it, from the start? As soon as you realise he had his wings chopped off, you're like, okay, it's just a matter of time till the wings come back.
it's weird, isn't it? Like they put all this they put him in like I have heavy eyeshadow on and lipstick and he's got like different coloured hair and goatee or whatever and
I know.
it's
I've
weird
got to be
and that
honest, right? Yeah, Mila Kunis, right? She's very pretty. Channing Tatum is a very handsome man. Put all that stuff on him, though. I find it hard to believe that she would fall in love with him. I'll be honest.
No, but Dan, what you're forgetting is she loves dogs. She's always
That
loved
is that has got to be the crown jewel. Bad dialogue. Bad.
That's almost as good as I hate sand.
Yeah.
Coarse, rough, irritating.
Yeah, but at least that's
Everywhere.
got comedy, right? I mean, every time I go to the beach, I think of Anakin Skywalker now, and it puts a smile on my face.
Maybe that's what they were going for.
And actually, knowing that Anakin doesn't like sand, I enjoy seeing sand because I know that he's suffering. Anyway, yes. What else to say? Okay, this is a big one, right? A lot of people really hate Eddie Redmayne in this film and think he's terrible. I would like to suggest that he is actually very good in this.
Interesting.
I think he's actually one of the best things in this. Yes, he's weird, but at least he's interesting. Like every time his character comes on screen and he's got that weird voice, I'm just like, okay, yeah, he's a bad guy, and he's wearing it, pretty obviously. But at least he's interesting. At least he actually seems pretty like nasty.
Yeah.
Like given a good script, he would have been a really good bad guy.
For instance, I think he's a more interesting bad guy to watch than, say, the bad guy whose name I can't remember in The Old Guard. I think it's
Yeah,
you
like
know,
Country Mile.
it's in a way it's a bit slightly a more interesting character because yes, the voice is stupid and it
Yeah,
made me laugh listening to it, but I
yeah,
think it's good. I mean, he
yeah.
feels kind of cool when he has those moments where he just breaks into a shout, and
Yes, I love those bits.
I
Yeah,
genuinely
yeah, yeah.
laughed at the end.
Yeah,
You've got all this crazy music happening, all this crazy action, and they almost have to like dial up his sound because he's still kind of whispering to them
yeah, yeah, yeah.
while he's fighting it, which is
Yeah,
really good. I
oh,
mean, he does speak a little bit louder in those sections, but still, it was.
yeah,
It feels oddly, it feels almost a bit like a '90s action film towards the end. It's got loads of tropes that just kind of exist. I
yeah,
mean, the ex machina nature of the wolf man kind of guy flying in at the end
yeah,
and catching her in just the nick of time and then getting through the portal and going back to Earth and flowing outside the ship and they're like, hey, let us into the ship. And
oh
they're all
yeah,
like, woo, outside.
yeah. I've got to be honest. I think I'd lost the will to live by that point.
I noticed when we were texting back and forth and you said to me, I said to you I was in the very last half an hour and you just said, yeah, good luck.
You know what? I at no point did I think I'd rather die than watch this.
That's all right.
Or if I was in the cinema, I wouldn't walk out. I mean, if I was going to get the bus or my parking was going to run out, and I might have had to pay more parking,
Yeah.
we would have left. But given no good reason to leave, I would have sat and watched it. But it's not great. I'm not sure how I feel about Matrix 4.
Do you think lessons have been learned since this
God,
to Matrix?
God damn it, I hope they have. And I hope they've learned it from Matrix Revolutions as well. I mean, it came out today or yesterday that apparently Lawrence Fishburne's not in it. There's no Morpheus.
Oh
To
wow!
which I say, BS. That's just cover up. We know right near the end Morpheus will turn up. Of course he will.
It's been on
Red
to
herring.
Matrix 5, isn't it?
Be like Avatar, wasn't it? Oh, we're not just going to do one more. We're going to do another 4. Like what? Was anyone asking for these? I don't need another Matrix film.
I mean, you could argue that we didn't really need a Matrix 4, so
No, we don't. We don't need it. We don't need 4, 5, or 6. Just keep
no.
them. Or give them someone else. Let someone else have a go.
They know what they got, but maybe they just felt like they needed to do it. I don't know. I too have similar concerns. I think sometimes it's best to just leave well enough alone. You know.
Yeah. Stop
In this
milking
case,
that cow.
yeah.
I mean, yeah. So, Jupiter's Ascending, I don't want to spend any more time talking about this film. Do you?
No, I do not.
Yeah. Thanks. Talking about sequels, it kind of tries to leave it open, doesn't it, for more? It kind of has this weird sort of fairy tale kind of ending where they're kind of flying around in the sky.
But you know what's interesting about that? When it ends, I noticed it's one of the few films these days where it doesn't give like a secret other ending which opens it up for a potential sequel. It's
True.
almost like they knew they weren't going to do a sequel.
Yeah, they knew it sucked balls, basically. Yeah.
So that film ate it. Let's not do a sequel.
Yeah. Might have been the studio. I mean, actually, one thing I would say, just to finish, You said about there's lots of puzzle pieces. I wonder if that script was even longer to start with.
I think it was.
Even longer. I think that's a 2.5 hour film there, and we just got over 2 hours. Praise Jesus that the studio probably cut it down somewhere.
Imagine if it had been like about 3 hours. I don't think I could have sat through that.
I reckon the Wachowskis would have done it as well, given half a chance. But we'll never know. And it's on Amazon Prime if you want to know where to avoid it. So, yeah.
Said.
There you go. So 1 star from each of us for Jupiter Ascending. We've watched it, so you don't have to. We'll be back next week for more delightful insights and frank discussions about whatever film we choose. So we've had a couple of people. Well, there was a couple of requests, I should say, on YouTube on the comments. So we'll chat about those in a minute, Brendan, when we've finished. So who knows? Watch this space.
Okay.
It's time to say goodbye. Bye.